Your 30s can feel like a crossroads. You spent years building habits and making decisions, some good, some bad, and you're sitting here thinking, have you wasted too much time now to actually achieve what you really want? The truth of the matter is that it's never too late to achieve your goals. It all starts by some simple changes in creating daily habits that build momentum and allow you to be the best version of yourself. So one thing that hopefully you've learned that you need to have nailed down by now in your 30s is learning about the art of being disciplined. Discipline is something that doesn't come naturally to many of us. Discipline is something that we know we need to do, but it isn't always something that we actually execute. Because there's so many distractions in life. There's so many things that are out there that are not actually in your control. It could be young children. It could be other things than work commitments that you have to jump on top of. And having that ability to actually have a structured day that you literally are sticking to without fail is almost impossible. But there are definitely small things and habits that you can start to implement into your life that will allow you to start to build more discipline. And what this will do, believe it or not, is actually create much more time for you in terms of what you actually want to focus on that's important to actually achieve your goals. Now, let's think about some ideas here. You could get up at 6 a.m. every morning, and this might be something that you do naturally. It might be something that you have to set an alarm for. But the reality is, as long as you choose a time and you stick to that time and you know that whatever happens, you're getting up at that time, you will know what to expect the next day and you will know what you do and don't have time for. Now, this may mean making sacrifices to your life and your lifestyle and social life and mean don't go out till 1, 2 a.m. like you used to in your early 20s. But you've got to just start thinking a bit more smart around how do I give myself the best chance to succeed with discipline? And that brings me on to the fact that discipline is great, but discipline means nothing unless you actually can be accountable for yourself. Now, this may be controversial to some of you, but in my view, accountability is the number one thing that you have to be considerate of if you want to be successful in your career and make it a career that actually has staying power. Accountability can sit very, very closely to things like integrity, honesty, just generally being a good person. But the skill of having strong accountability takes real work and it doesn't come easily. We can all commit to things and try things for a few days and actually get the best out of ourselves or other people and create great impressions. But it's that accountability to have that staying power and stick with it that creates great people and great leaders. So if you're part of a team or if you're part of a family, or if you've got engagements that you said that you're going to attend, or you said you'd help other people out with some of their individual problems, you've got to stick to it. You've got to be someone that is seen to be dependable, and that accountability for what you've promised other people and the decisions that you've actually committed to, you can't renege on these things because then you will get a bad reputation with others around you're someone that they can't depend on. But also that self-discipline piece goes out the window if you can't be accountable. Accountability is that ability to really look at yourself every day and think about, am I following through with that discipline and those decisions that I put in place to really achieve what I want to as an individual? Now, accountability is great because it keeps you focused, but focus without understanding prioritization can lead to burnout. And this is why it's really important whilst you're thinking about your accountability and discipline that you need to also have the understanding of when to say yes and when to say no. Learning to find the balance of saying yes and no is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself because it gives you back what we all crave, which is time. And we know we don't have a lot of time in this world, so you should really learn to focus on this. Have you ever noticed some of the top leaders in the world and strongest executives always seem to come across as this really calm, in control and balanced individual? This isn't just by chance. The reason these individuals get like that is that they've trained their mind and their daily habits to be somebody that is able to prioritize saying yes and no. So my CEO is a great example. He actually splits all of his tasks up into A, B, C, and D tasks. And an A task is something that is very urgent and it's very time sensitive and it has to be done today. A B task is that it's urgent, but it's not as time sensitive. And a D task is that it's something he needs to look at because it means something to someone else, but it's also not time sensitive. Having this discipline to be able to divide your yes and no prioritization into these 4 areas is something that's been really helpful for me. Now, if you look at this a different way, if you're somebody that's actually not able to learn to say yes and no, then you're just always going to be finding that you're chasing your tail. Are you ever going to get any actual structure? Are you going to be able to ever review what you're doing right and wrong and what you're saying yes to or what you're saying no to and which is valuable for you? How do you take that into the next day or the next part of your life? It's very difficult to. Now, the other thing is that saying yes and no is important, but ultimately, if you're not surrounding yourself by the right people who are influencing you to become that version of yourself that you want to be, then yes and no doesn't even matter. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was actually that surrounding myself by people that I aspired to be like was the only way I was ever going to truly move up to that next level in my career. Now, as a founder, I started my business with a very flat hierarchy. And you can imagine a lot of these people are actually my friends, and they're still great people. But I knew after a while that if I wanted to get to the next level, I had to create this barrier between friendship and actually, professionalism. So I started to look to try and actually spend more time and hang around with individuals that perhaps I didn't have as much in common with today, but I knew that they, displayed the behaviors and the kind of mannerisms, and they had the discipline and all these things we've talked about earlier in this video that I really wanted to make sure that I could do as well. So one of the key things you really need to be able to think about is, and question yourself on, more importantly, is, are you today surrounding yourself by the right amount of people that you think you can learn from? Not just necessarily from a sort of subject matter expertise, but from a discipline, from a behavior, from right and wrong. Are individuals that you're around operating with the levels of integrity or creativity or innovation, whatever it might be, that you can learn from? Now, this is so important because, we are humans and we're very easily influenced. And if you're not able to actually put yourself where you can hear and learn and see and feel new things, then how are you ever going to get better? Now, talking about getting better, surrounding yourself by people is really important, but you've also got to commit to this lifelong learning journey and this feeling of being self-aware and really focusing on self-improvement. If you're not able to accept the fact that if you don't commit to a lifelong journey of self-improvement, you're really going to struggle to get to where you want to be in your career and in your life. We are so lucky in the modern world that there are so many different channels and available resources for us to learn from. But can you sit there today and honestly say that you're using all of them to your true potential? I don't think you can, because we get very wrapped up in our day-to-day lives and we've got tasks to do and things to complete, which is great because that keeps the world ticking along, and that's how we get paid, and that's how we get our salary and pay for everything we need to in our lives. But if you don't create that time, then when are you ever going to get better? In terms of ways you can do this, yes, surrounding yourself, like I talked about a moment ago, by more inspirational and influential people is one element, but you've got to be able to take that time to look at resources out there such as AI, what's going on there, digitalization, what new innovative tools are happening out there, what qualifications could you potentially acquire to get yourself to the next level, what skills in terms of soft skills and change management and relationship and communication. All of these things really matter, and if you're not applying yourself to learn about them, you're going to really struggle to feel like you're moving forward. And more importantly, how are you going to show the people that make the decisions about you getting promoted to the next level that you've got that capability to do so, unless you're showing them new things about you that they didn't see 3-4 months ago? You really think about this, because self-improvement is actually not just something that's important, it's a lot of fun, and it makes you a lot more humble as a person, and it creates that curiosity. Now, having said that, self-improvement is key, but the surefire way to get yourself where you need to be in a short amount of time is really thinking about, how do I learn from my failures? Because it's when we fail that we really get to know who we are and how we can transpire that knowledge into something positive moving forward. Failure has been a huge part of my journey so far. And do you know what? Whilst I really don't like to fail, and it really puts the fear of dread into me every time I do, it's a massive gift. And the fact that I've failed so many times is the only reason that I've managed to be successful. Because I tell you what, when you fail, it's when you're at your most vulnerable, there's nowhere to hide, and it's a great opportunity to really reflect and analyze what you could have done differently. Some of the best leaders in the world and most successful entrepreneurs are lying if they've said that they've never failed. And quite the opposite, actually. Many are very open about this, because to them as well, they've realized that failure is what made them who they are today. When we fail, it really gives us this ability to truly just think about what is it that went wrong, and all that excitement and vision and energy that we put into an idea or business or job at the start, can just become ashes very, very quickly, which really as humans is very painful to sometimes experience. But, it gives you that ability to think, what did I do wrong? How can I do it differently next time? And even just be reflective on, should I do something like that in the future because it's a good match for me, or was the reason I failed because I shouldn't have done it in the first place? So look, failure is happening everywhere at all times, and people find it uncomfortable to talk about it. But I'm pushing you here, and I'm urging you and encouraging you to get failure to be a big part of who you are as a person, because not only does it make you a more vulnerable and more approachable leader, but it will just make you feel like you're really pushing forward and achieving what you want to by making sure that you're learning from your mistakes. Now, failure is a big part of everyone's life, as I've just said. However, you've got to be able to also really think about focusing on quality over quantity, because one of the reasons we fail is because we just try to do too much. Now, whilst failure is not easy to talk about, the good news is that we should be always celebrating our small wins. You don't always have to only celebrate when you hit the big time or the jackpot. Small wins are so important to make sure and validate that what you're doing is worth it. Now, having said that, while small wins are good, you can't just dine out on small wins forever. And you also have to think about that there are these uncomfortable truths and habits that you may have also developed that you're not thinking of. So check out my next video, because this will make you more aware and build your engagement around what you need to do to also be successful in your career.